I'm Danielle Marcella McLaughlin. I like to be called Daniella. I was born May 10th, 1979. I graduated here at Haddonfield Memorial High School, class of 1998. In this picture is my father, Reverend James W. McLaughlin, deceased Valentine's Day, 2011. He was in the Air Force. I don't know the dates. And in this picture is my oldest brother, John Thomas, and my mother, my father, and my next oldest brother, Danny, who is the reason for my name, Daniella. He named me. And that is my mom, Betty E. McLaughlin, and that's my father, Reverend James McLaughlin. We need a good history lesson. I remember one day playing outside in the playground, and I don't know what was going on or whatever, but all I know, I got called a name that wasn't pleasant, and that I never heard at home, but I knew it enough to know that it wasn't something anyone should call anyone, or me in particular. And that wasn't just nice at all or kind. I remember the student talked about it years later with her. She apologized to, as adults, So, glad that that was able to happen, because some people can stay in that place, and she didn't. Another memory is Girl Scouts, brownies, actually. Brownies I went to Central School, so it was in the art room, which is still the art room. That is good, because some things change around town, and it's pretty cool. So it's the middle school's art room, sorry. That's where our girls' brownie troop was. Having my friends doing different projects, making the sit-upon little things, just doing something that wasn't church, because I was often at church or I was home. Being able to do an after-school activity was very important to me. Was fun, was memorable, and I enjoyed brownies a lot. My brownie troop leader wound up being my coach labor person when I had my son, Jonathan. Oh, wow. Yes. Well, growing up as a pastor's daughter, we were always, I was always at church, but I was always at events where I would be serving as an usher, or serving in the children's choir, or a play, or my mom is one of 11 children. So I would be at my grandmother's home with I'm one of 20-something grandchildren, so taking care of other people or helping out. So I'm always used to that, and there were people that were my age, and so I liked that part of it. And going into college and in high school and stuff, doing a beauty pageant. In high school, I was a cheerleader, and I really loved it. I actually found my varsity letter stuff. I was involved in Haddonfield high school cheerleading all 4 years. I got a varsity letter every year, and I also got a varsity letter one year for being a track coach manager. So being active and being out of the house, because like I said, I was a pastor's daughter, so I was always at church, or always at my grandmom's, or always at the mother of the church house. And so being amongst, my peers or people in town, it was just good to do. Before I was born, my brother could probably tell you the exact, or my mom, I don't know, information. They started in Philadelphia. They lived there for years. They moved to Haddonfield for my father's job, but also my mom's one requirement was that the town had the speed line system, so she could go back and see her mother, or go to the church, or come home, bring us home, or whatever. And so my father started the church in someone's home, and then it's still there. My mom is still a member. We still go. She's one of the founding members, and it's been over 60 years. It's in the middle of North Philly, And it's nice to go back and know Daddy's picture is still there. It's a newer one, but it's still there. And we were there. I stayed after he passed for about 5 years or more. Jonathan was christened and then baptized. And then I wound up moving to a church here in Jersey, but my mom still faithfully, we go with her a couple times a month. Because my father was a pastor, he wasn't home when he worked a factory job in Pennsylvania. So I couldn't do cheerleading as a younger person, but I would go up to the football field. I live on Ellis Street, but I live in between the baseball field and the football field. So I'd walk up the back near the Polk's house, and I would, my friends would be up and down that area, and I would walk to the football field to see the games or just see them cheering. Like, I couldn't cheer because I wasn't on the squad, but they would kind of include me, or I would just sit there and do whatever. And so that's like a place, and it was really cool when my son was younger. He played little midget football. So that was fun to watch him be on the field that's right near us that my brother probably played on, and then he also did baseball at one time too. I do want to say one thing that you'll probably like. One of my fondest moments here, because of my dad and who he is and my mother, I remember the day when I turned 18 and we signed up to vote and got our voter registration card. He was in the cafeteria. And I remember that, and I still have that card. A lot of people have never seen a voter card. And I'm like, and I meant to bring it today, and I don't have it. But I still have it. And that's very important to me because my father grew up in a town called Weghorn, North Carolina. And he taught Black people and other people how to vote. And I actually have that document too. And it's just, my father was my parents, everybody down at the soccer fields. Where's Danielle? Where's Danny? Danielle, is your mom coming? Every time it's time to vote, everybody knows who we are because it's very important for us to vote. My dad was a Baptist pastor and Baptist and Southern Baptist. I'm probably saying it wrong. My brother's going to say something different. But it's very important. It's part of our history. It's a part of, the time when things were different, and to make sure that I do that every year, it's a blessing to be able to still honor. I think I'm happy to say I'm the second out of three of us, Danny being the first, me being the second, and my son being the third, to graduate from here. But unfortunately, all three of us have experienced the word that should not be said. It breaks my heart that my son has experienced bullying in every stage of it. Elementary school, middle school, and high school a little bit. Not really, not high school, because of, unfortunately, you guys, we had a pandemic. But I see the effect that it made on my son, and it hurts. And I go to a church where teachers from other school districts, and they're like, oh my God, how do you live there? They're such a racist town. They're so racist. I was like, but I kind of live in my little bubble, because growing up, majority of the houses were still Black-owned, Black families. I think within the 3-block radius, there might be 10 of us still there. And it's to watch part of the one house behind me, part of it just being taken away and not being recognized is sad. I'm glad that I have the connection from North Carolina to connect the two, because my mother, parents, we have a house in North Carolina as well. And I'm very proud to say that we can connect the dots there. I wish it would change more. And recently I see that we're not even 1%. Black people are not even 1% in our town, and that's sad. And I used to know everybody. Like, I knew the Pokes, or I knew whoever, or they knew me or they knew my parents, and you would straighten up if you were doing something wrong or whatever. And the pokes definitely, if they caught me with my head down, Danielle, why are you walking with your head down? Walk with your head up. You're proud. I would get corrected, and I internalize that now because I get it. Because I went to a college, I left Haddonfield, I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, 5 hours north, never been out the state other than North Carolina in my life. And I felt a little bit of, I don't know what it's called, but there were friends from Pittsburgh, Philly, and then there were environments where, like it is in town. And I still didn't know where I fit. Philly people thought I was from Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh people thought whatever, and then I got the opposite of what I got here. Oh, you talk white. Oh, you sound white. I'm like, I can't win. So I dealt a little bit. It's probably identity, it's crisis or whatever else, or just, frustration of that. And I still kind of do. But as I grow, I have forgiveness in my heart, and I try to explain even to the people that are like, you live in a town, but I lived in a bubble, and I knew all my history, and I know my family history from that. And even when recently over Christmas break, I took my son down to the middle of Fayetteville, where not necessarily, I don't know my family, but where Black people were auctioned off. And recently, since my son loves history, we go to a lot of places, and we went in Philly to that museum and that ship where you saw like another situation of the same thing. And it's crazy because it's not, but it's in a lot of cities around the world, and that's happened. And for my parents to ironically buy a home that in a town that connected to the Underground Railroad in some way is like, wow. And it was meant to be. But I think my family is, being part of Christianity and everything is meant to break it, to hold up to just break the negativity, to break any generational curses behind it, any stigmas. And I'm proud, my brother has done wonderful things with his life. I know that my son will. And I do some cool things. I wish that my education, I was in second grade, I was put in special education. I wish that my parents and the school district knew as much as they knew now with emotions and things, because it was around the time where my brother was still not home. He had moved on and was doing great things. And me acting out or me having some of my delays, I believe, was probably a stem from that. And I was probably struggling with that. And if I had got correct help, I would have been, more support, and I would have maybe focused more on tutors that my parents have paid for or have gotten me and different things of that nature, probably. Of all the years, my favorite, I loved doing the football games. I was a mascot. I was a cheerleader. I was on the yearbook committee. I did photography. Oh, I know what you're going to love. I was part of the pilot program that started the dance program here. Because I told you I had 2 pins put in both hips. So there was a couple of us that were different in our own way, so to speak. And we didn't want to do gym, so they started that program under Miss Swift. I was one of them. And it's a great program, and I don't know, I would love to see what they do now. I heard it's really hard now, and I'm like, yes, I got through the easy stuff. But it was cool, because that's where I got introduced to yoga, meditation, and things of that nature. And now that I get older, stretching, I need to keep doing that. And so I'm excited. And yeah, I really liked that I was a part of that program. Better Days is my current new gospel song. Also about going to college. I was part of Campus Crusade for Christ, So living in Haddonfield, my genre of music, it's funny, my son listens to all the 80s music now, and I'm like, this is this song. And he cracks me up. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, go watch this movie. So, but Amos 9:13, I can't quote it. I'm not, like, which one, what is it, Jay? That is my current one because telling my story, unfortunately, throughout the bad parts of my time here has led me to my greater purpose. I unfortunately, because of my isolation, my other feelings and emotions, I had attempted suicide at one time. I am a 5-time attempter survivor. I speak for NAMI in our Own Voices program that goes into schools like this and like military bases of like whoever calls us. And I tell them about my story, and part of it is because of here. But I'm happy that I can be on the other side of that and that I can help young teenagers and people overall, that the sadness didn't break me. Words do hurt, but it didn't break me. And like I said, Amos 9:13 is my current favorite Bible verse, and the song Better Days is one of them. I also love Maverick City music. Like, I've taken my son to see both of their concerts when they've been in the Philadelphia area. Well, one concert in the Philadelphia area, so that's me. So I also, because of the NAMI, the motivational speaking, I'm a certified motivational speaking with NAMI. I have my own podcast. I use the name my brother gave me, Daniella, and I use the word blessed. So it's called blesseddaniella.com. That is also my Instagram name. That was the reason for my website. And I have t-shirts that I sell for suicide prevention. I love doing the suicide prevention walks. And I can be reached on, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. So, and I'm looking forward to traveling more and speaking about all of that. So I also, about 5 years ago, was gracious enough to be in part of this book. And my chapter in here, I talk about my special education journey. And it's important. I'm currently starting to work on my own book, but this is an anthology of a lot of women here in Camden County. It can be found on Amazon, and I probably have like a few copies. But it is called Her Path After Her Pain. And so I'm a published author from a young child who was in what they called back in the day the rug room, the resource room, who a lot of people didn't think I was smart. I wasn't going anywhere and whatever. This is I did it. I mean, I didn't complete college, but my accomplishments and the things I've gone through have spoken for itself.
Always be proud of what you've overcome, and always be proud of all the battles you've won, and always be proud of all of your darkest days, the tears you held back when you walked away, and always be proud of your mom and your dad, and whatever affair that they had. Always be proud of your very first kiss, and always be proud of every friend that you miss. Always be proud, and let your heart